The Galactic Combat Academy's emergency alert system screamed across all channels as Senior Proctor Kael'thas's mandibles clicked in rapid-fire panic. "Terminate the simulation now!" The human cadet just ripped through our indestructible barrier with her bare hands, and she thinks it's a warm-up stretch. Emma Rodriguez looked up from touching her toes, confused. "Wait, I'm sorry. Did the actual test start already? I thought this was just the waiting room." Director Zelax's voice crackled over every speaker in the facility, each word dripping with barely controlled terror. "All personnel evacuate Sector 7 immediately. Initiate Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega is now active. This is not a drill." "Protocol Omega?" Kael'thas's secondary arms trembled as he backed toward the exit. "Director, that protocol hasn't been activated in 50,000 years. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content." "The barrier," Zelax interrupted, his voice breaking slightly. "The gravitational compression barrier that has withstood direct hits from planetary siege weapons, that survive the Epsilon bombardment intact, that we use as the foundation of our combat facility. She pulled it apart like it was paper. She wasn't even trying." Emma straightened up, stretching her arms overhead. "Oh, that silvery wall thing? Sorry, I thought it was like one of those stress relief thingies. You know, the ones you squeeze. It was kind of in my way, and I figured I'd just—" She made a gentle pulling motion with her hands. "Move it aside? Was that wrong? Nobody said we couldn't touch stuff." 3 alien cadets lay unconscious on the floor, their biology having simply shut down from proximity to Emma's warm-up routine. Medical teams rushed in wearing full hazard gear, giving Emma a berth of at least 20 meters. Kael'thas forced himself to access his tactical training, decades of combat experience screaming at him to flee, but professional duty keeping him marginally composed. "Cadet Rodriguez, I need you to remain absolutely still. Don't move. Don't breathe heavily. Don't do anything." Okay?" Emma held still, though her confused expression suggested she thought everyone was overreacting. "Is this part of the test? Some kind of psychological evaluation thing?" "The barrier she destroyed," Zelax's voice continued over the speakers, now addressing someone off-channel, "was rated to contain a Category 9 combat event. The human registered it as slightly firm in her post-action statement. Her vitals during the incident showed she was relaxed. Her heart rate actually decreased." A new voice joined the channel, Administrator Vex Thule from the Galactic Combat Council itself. "Director Zelax, I'm reviewing the telemetry now. These readings can't be accurate. No biological entity can generate this much kinetic force without massive energy expenditure. Your equipment must be malfunctioning." "I've run diagnostics 17 times in the past 90 seconds, Zelax replied, his usual composure completely shattered. "The equipment is functioning perfectly. The human is... she's..." "I'm right here, you know," Emma said, raising her hand slightly. "I can hear everything you're saying. And I'm starting to feel really awkward about this whole situation." The moment her hand moved, every alarm in the facility intensified. Structural integrity warnings flashed across displays. The very air seemed to vibrate with potential energy. "Remain still!" multiple voices shouted simultaneously. Emma froze, eyes wide. "Okay, seriously, what is happening? Did I fail already? Because I really need this job. Substitute teaching doesn't cover my student loans, and your recruitment officer said this paid really well for cultural exchange, combat consultation, or whatever." Kael'thas felt his worldview cracking like the barrier had. You're here for the pay?" "Well, yeah," Emma shrugged, and immediately regretted it as the building shuddered. "Oops, sorry. But I mean, that's why most people apply for jobs, right?" The ad said, "Seeking human combat specialist for training consultation," and I figured, how hard could it be? I break up fights between 7-year-olds every day. At least alien warriors probably don't bite. She's an educator? Vexthul's voice reached a pitch that shouldn't have been possible for his species. You're telling me we have a human teacher in our combat facility, and she just destroyed our primary containment system? Elementary school, Emma added helpfully. 2nd grade. Though I did substitute for 5th grade once, those kids are brutal. Director Zillax materialized via hologram at a safe distance, his form flickering with either technological interference or personal distress. Cadet Rodriguez, I need to ask you something critical. What is your combat training background? Emma laughed, the sound somehow carrying more destructive potential than a plasma cannon. Combat training? I mean, I took a self-defense seminar at the community center once. Oh, and I did yoga for like 3 weeks before I got too busy. Does that count? Yoga, Kael'thas repeated flatly, his military bearing finally collapsing entirely. He sat down hard on the floor, staring at nothing. She practices yoga and she just rewrote everything we know about combat physics. I wasn't even very good at it, Emma protested. The instructor said I had terrible flexibility. That's why I was doing the stretches when I got here. I thought I should warm up before any physical stuff started. Multiple emergency response teams arrived, establishing a perimeter that looked more appropriate for containing a planetary collision than a single individual. Specialized equipment that Emma recognized from sci-fi movies materialized around her. Force fields, energy dampeners, gravitational anchors. She watched them work with growing concern. This seems like a lot. Should I leave? I can come back another time if this is bad. No, every voice in the facility shouted at once. Don't leave, Zillax added more calmly, though his hologram's visual stability suggested otherwise. We need to assess the situation. Administrator Vexthul is contacting your homeworld's authorities now for clarification on proper protocols. You're calling Earth? Emma's face brightened. Oh, can you ask them about my dental coverage? The benefits package was kind of vague on that. Kael'thas made a sound that the universal translator struggled to process. She's concerned about dental coverage while we're implementing protocols designed for stellar-level threats. The communication channel crackled as a new voice joined, a human voice, crisp and professional. This is Colonel Patricia Anderson, human military liaison. Who authorized one of our civilians for your combat program? Colonel Anderson, Vexthul said with obvious relief. We were under the impression this candidate was a qualified combat specialist. Her application indicated, let me see the file. A pause. Oh, for the love of, that's Emma Rodriguez? Are you kidding me? She failed our basic fitness certification, twice. Emma's face flushed. Hey, that's personal information. Rodriguez, what are you doing at an alien combat academy? Colonel Anderson's voice mixed exasperation with genuine concern. You couldn't complete a single pull-up in basic. The pull-up bar was weird, Emma defended herself. And I told you, I have a bad shoulder from carrying my students' projects to the car. Those dioramas are heavier than they look. Colonel Anderson addressed the aliens directly. Gentlemen, I need you to understand something. Emma Rodriguez scored in the bottom 10% of human physical capability assessment. She represents roughly what we'd consider an average, slightly out-of-shape civilian. She is not, by any human military standard, combat qualified. The silence that followed could have suffocated stars. Bottom 10%, Zillax finally managed. That's not entirely fair, Emma interjected. I did great on the written tests, and I'm really good at conflict de-escalation. You have to be when Tyler and Madison both want the blue crayon, and there's only one blue crayon. And somehow this becomes a philosophical debate about fairness and sharing and... She's describing children, Kael'thas interrupted, his voice hollow. Human children. She manages human children daily. 30 of them, Emma confirmed, in one classroom, for 6 hours a day. And let me tell you, you haven't experienced chaos until you've dealt with a second-grade birthday party cupcake incident. There was frosting on the ceiling. Vexthul's voice had gone very quiet. Colonel Anderson, I need complete clarity here. Are you confirming that this human who just destroyed our most advanced containment technology with casual physical contact, who registers as a walking extinction-level event on our sensors, who our facility's AI has classified as a Category 12 threat, is considered physically weak by your species' standards? I wouldn't say weak, Colonel Anderson replied diplomatically. Just not military material. Emma's a lovely person and an excellent teacher by all accounts, but she's not what you'd call athletic. No offense, Rodriguez. None taken, Emma muttered. I know I'm not exactly CrossFit material. What? Kael'thas asked slowly. Is CrossFit? It's this intense workout thing, Emma explained. My roommate does it. She can do these things called burpees. They look exhausting. I get tired just watching her. Your roommate, Zilak said, his hologram now flickering erratically. Someone who is more physically capable than you. She exists on your planet, right now. Oh yeah, Sarah's super fit. She runs marathons and stuff. Meanwhile, I get winded climbing the stairs to my apartment. Emma paused. Wait, why do you all look so horrified? Are aliens not good with stairs? The medical team's scanners went berserk as Emma shifted her weight, preparing to demonstrate stair climbing. Buildings in 3 adjacent sectors reported structural stress. Don't demonstrate, multiple voices commanded. Administrator Vexthul seemed to be consulting with numerous off-screen personnel. We need to completely reassess our combat classification system. If human civilians register at this level and their military personnel are substantially more capable. Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about this. Colonel Anderson's voice carried a hint of amusement now. But since you're already having an existential crisis, our actual combat specialists would probably find your facility's safety features cute. We have 12-year-olds in junior athletics programs who could probably bench press your average warrior species. 12-year-olds? Kael'thas looked like he might pass out. Human children? I mean, not my students, Emma clarified. Second graders are still pretty small, though little Marcus did accidentally rip a door off its hinges last year when he got excited about lunch. We had to have a talk about inside strength versus outside strength. A child, Zilak said faintly. A human child damaged a structure designed to contain juvenile Deathworlders from 17 species. It was an accident, Emma insisted. He felt really bad about it. His mom was mortified. Director Zilak made a decision that would later be studied in crisis management courses across the galaxy. We're adapting the examination parameters. Cadet Rodriguez, we're going to ask you to demonstrate what you consider a gentle punch. Just show us what you'd do if you absolutely had to defend yourself but didn't want to hurt anyone. Emma looked uncertain. Are you sure? I really don't want to break anything else. We're as sure as we can be, Vexthul replied, which was not reassuring. Please proceed with extreme caution. Okay. Emma positioned herself in front of the designated target, a combat dummy designed to absorb and measure force from weapons-grade impacts. She pulled her arm back slightly, barely moving her shoulder, and extended her fist in what she clearly considered a gentle tap. The dummy exploded. Not broke. Exploded into its component molecules. The shock wave rippled through the facility's foundation. 3 backup buildings automatically sealed themselves. The Academy's ancient defensive shields, dormant for millennia, activated on their own in response to the threat. Emma stared at her fist in horror. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I barely touched it. Was that expensive? I can pay for it. Well, not right away, but maybe a payment plan? Every structural engineer in the facility simultaneously submitted retirement paperwork. That was... Kael'thas couldn't finish the sentence. His training, his experience, his entire understanding of combat and warfare had just been rendered obsolete by an out-of-shape elementary school teacher who was worried about payment plans. Colonel Anderson's laughter echoed through the channel. You asked for a demonstration. Emma, honey, how much force did you use there, percentage-wise? Emma thought about it. Maybe 5%? I was really trying to be careful. Oh no, did I fail? I feel like I'm failing. 5%, Zilax repeated. Her species' combat specialists operate at exponentially higher levels. We can't even test this properly. We don't have equipment rated for these force levels. Our strongest materials might as well be tissue paper. Vexthul was silent for a long moment. The examination is concluded. Cadet Rodriguez, you pass. Automatically, by default, because we literally cannot safely evaluate you using any known methodology. I pass? Emma brightened. Really? So I get the job? You pass, Vexthul confirmed wearily. And we're creating an entirely new position for you. Baseline Deathworlder combat consultant. You'll be teaching our warriors how to survive potential encounters with human civilians. Because apparently, that's a necessary skill now. Oh, teaching. I can do that. Emma's enthusiasm caused minor, seismic readings across the facility. I'm actually really good at breaking complex concepts down into manageable lessons. And I have tons of experience with classroom management. Do you guys have a curriculum, or should I develop one from scratch? Kael'thas found himself nodding, despite his species not naturally having that gesture. A curriculum. Yes, perhaps start with how not to die when a human sneezes nearby. Do humans sneeze destructively? Zilax asked with mounting dread. Only when we have allergies, Emma assured him. And I take antihistamines, so we should be fine. Probably. Is this facility climate-controlled? Because dust makes me sneezy. The environmental systems were immediately upgraded to hospital-grade air filtration. Over the next hour, as Emma cheerfully discussed lesson planning and classroom setup while alien engineers frantically reinforced everything in sight, a new understanding emerged across the Galactic Combat Academy. Their entire martial tradition, built over millions of years across hundreds of warrior species, had been based on fundamentally flawed assumptions about the upper limits of biological capability. They'd built their pyramids of combat knowledge on the foundation that physical force had reasonable limits, that biology imposed constraints, that training and technology could bridge any gap between species. Then a human failed their own species' basic fitness test and accidentally demolished those pyramids while looking for a bathroom. Director Zilax found himself in his office later that day, staring at new facility designs. Every building would need reconstruction. Every training protocol required revision. Every safety standard was now woefully inadequate. The projected cost was astronomical. Kael'thas entered without waiting for acknowledgement, something he'd never have done before today. She asked about snack breaks. Apparently, humans need to eat every 4 hours or they get hangry. Hangry? Hungry and angry simultaneously. I looked it up. There are extensive human documents warning about this condition. Kael'thas sat down heavily. Director, I've been a combat instructor for 37 years. I've trained champions, war heroes, planetary defense specialists, and today I watched an elementary school teacher who failed her own species' physical fitness tests treat our most advanced combat facility like a particularly firm pillow. Zilax nodded slowly. I've contacted the council. They're convening an emergency session. Every combat academy in the galaxy will need to adapt. This isn't just about our facility. It's about every interaction between humans and, well, everyone else. She offered to share her granola bar with me, Kael'thas said distantly. While containment teams were evacuating nearby sectors, she was concerned I might be hungry. Then she mentioned her granola bars are the healthy kind with extra protein, and our sensors identified them as Class 4 biohazards because apparently human nutrition requirements are also catastrophic. What do we do? Zilax asked, a question he'd never expected to voice. We learn, Kael'thas replied. We adapt. We accept that the galaxy just got exponentially more complicated. He paused. She asked if we have dental coverage. I'm genuinely afraid to investigate why human dental care might be relevant to combat operations. Emma Rodriguez, blissfully unaware of the existential crisis reverberating through Galactic Military Command, sat in the facility's reinforced cafeteria, reviewing her new employment contract. The salary was excellent, enough to pay off her student loans and afford a better apartment. The benefits included what she assumed was health insurance, though some of the coverage seemed oddly specific about structural damage compensation and planetary insurance riders. She pulled out her tablet to message her roommate Sarah. Got the job, teaching combat stuff to aliens. They seem really worried about safety. Made me sign like 50 waivers. Very thorough. Oh, and the commute is great. They're sending a shuttle. Apparently they don't want me on public transport because of insurance liability or something. Fancy. Her phone buzzed with Sarah's reply. That's amazing. Maybe you can finally afford to join my CrossFit gym. Emma laughed, the sound causing 3 structural integrity alerts. Maybe, though I should probably master stairs first. One step at a time, right? She didn't notice Kael'thas in the doorway, watching her with the expression of someone whose entire worldview had been thoroughly deconstructed and hastily rebuilt using materials never intended for such construction. Cadet Rodriguez, he said carefully, your first class begins tomorrow. We've assembled our most experienced warriors for your instruction. Great, Emma beamed at him. I brought some teaching supplies from home. Gold star stickers, a reward chart, some motivational posters, the usual stuff. Do your warriors respond well to positive reinforcement? I have no idea, Kael'thas admitted, but after today, I'm willing to try anything. Emma pulled out a sheet of shiny stickers. These are scratch and sniff. The strawberry ones are everyone's favorite. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Galactic Combat Council updated their threat assessment matrices, created new classification systems, and began the lengthy process of accepting that humanity, casual, snack-loving, granola bar-sharing humanity, had just redefined what dangerous meant. And Emma Rodriguez, elementary school teacher and bottom 10% human physical specimen, prepared lesson plans with the same cheerful dedication she brought to teaching second graders, completely unaware that she'd just become the most terrifying combat instructor in galactic history. She did, however, make a note to ask about that dental coverage. Her dentist appointments were coming up, and she'd heard galactic insurance could be complicated. In the reinforced observation room, Director Zelax watched her organize her teaching materials and turned to Vexthol's hologram. We're going to need a bigger facility. We're going to need a bigger planet, Vexthul corrected grimly. And somewhere on Earth, Sarah finished her CrossFit routine and wondered why her roommate's new job required so many liability waivers. She shrugged and went to do burpees. The galaxy would never be the same,